Okay, going over solutions to the four problems. So the first problem was complete the bank statement. And the clues that I gave you was that the credit column, you have to look at this as being income, so what's coming into your bank account, and your debit is what is going out of your bank account. So your balance here, that is in your account. So what you have at the minute, or what this person has at the minute. So they've got a starting balance of £142.20. So on the 5th of April 2017, wages. Well, we think of wages as something that we earn. So that gives you a big clue that £650 is something that's going into our bank account. So to work this one out, we have to add £650 to our original bank balance of £142. So if you work that out, we're still going to have 20 pence, and we're going to end up with a total of £792.20. So our balance has gone up by £650. Okay, 7th of April 2017. So rent. So rent is what you would pay in order to, I don't know, live in an apartment, live in a house, whatever, but it's something you would have to pay. So since you would have to pay this is going to be leaving your account. So to work out the next amount of money in your for your bank balance, we would have to subtract £301 from £792.20. And if you work that out, that's going to take us down to £491.20. Finally, we've got some cash which is coming into our account. It's in the credit column, so this is coming into our bank account. We need to work out how much is going into our bank account though by comparing what our balance was in the previous day to the 8th of April. So how have we gone from £491.20 to £516.20? Well, it has gone up by, just doing a little bit of maths, it has gone up by £25. The amount of pence has stayed the same, which means that the missing value in here is £25 in cash. So this could be someone just going to the bank and just depositing £25 in cash so it can go straight into their account. So those are the three missing numbers for the bank statement. Okay, moving on to the next question. Anne makes cakes for a bake sale. It costs her 80p for each cake. She sells each cake for £3.10. If she makes and sells 24, how much profit will she make? Well, there's a few ways of going about this. One way of going about it is to work out how much profit Anne would make for one cake. So to work that out, we say, well, she has sold it for £3.10. Now, immediately you think, well, is this the profit that she's made? It's not quite, because remember, she's had to pay for ingredients for this cake. So even though she's taken £3.10 in, she did lose some money at the beginning by having to spend that on ingredients. So we have to take away the 80p from £3.10 to work out her overall profit for each cake. So just be mindful, obviously, this is £3.10. So 80p, that is the same as £0 and 80p. So working that out, that means that for a single cake, she will have made £2.30 in overall profit. So £2.30 for one cake. So if we want to work out what it would be for 24 cakes, we would need to do £2.30, which is the profit made for one cake, and times it by 24. Now, if we wanted to do this without a calculator, probably the easiest way of going about it is to write the £2.30 in pence, so it's like a whole number, and then times it by 24. Now, just be mindful that that is in pence, so I'm just going to put a P there just to remind me, and then I'm just going to do a long multiplication method. So 4 times 0 is nothing, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 2 is 8, add the 1 is 9. So I've used the 1, I'm just going to cross that out. So now I'm going to move on to the 2, but that's in the tens column. So I'm going to lead with a 0. So I'm now going to start in the tens column. So 2 times 0 is nothing. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. add up the amounts, and what's that? 5 carry 1, and that goes up to 5. Okay, so I've got an overall total here. That is in pence though, because I turned the £2.13 to pence. So if I wanted to turn that into pounds, that is going to be £55.20p. The other way of going about it, we could have worked out how much in total Anne will have spent in order to buy the ingredients for a cake. So 24 lots of 80p. So we could have done that. We could have then worked out how much in total she would have made from selling the cake. So 24 lots of £3.10. And then we'd have an overall amount that she's made, but then an overall amount that she spent, and then we could just subtract one from the other, and that should hopefully also allow us to arrive at £55. On to the next question. A square has a perimeter of 20 centimeters. So be mindful, perimeter is the outline of the shape, and because it's a square, that means that all four sides are going to be the same. So if I want all four sides to be the same and for them to add up to make 20, that means that each side has got to be 5 centimeters. Okay, so if 3 of these squares were put together to form a rectangle, I'm going to have 5 there, 5 there, 5 there. I'm going to have 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. Note how I haven't highlighted the sides that have been connected to the others because they're now hidden by being attached, because I want to focus on this being one big rectangle rather than 3 individual squares. So if I want to look at it now, it's just one big rectangle, a little bit wibbly wobbly, but it doesn't matter. That tells me that it's a total of 15 all the way across the top and just 5 down the side. I need to work out the area of this rectangle. To find the area of the rectangle, we just need to times length and width together. 15 times 5 gives us a total of 75. The units, well, we're working in centimeters to begin with. So each of these 5s are 5 centimeters. So this is actually 15 centimeters by 5 centimeters. So our answer is going to be 75 centimeters squared. Very important. It does tell us to state the units. If we hadn't, then we might have lost ourselves a mark. Final question. A shelf is 1.2 meters long and a book is 15 millimeters thick. Right, first issue we're going to have is the fact that we have different units here. So we've got a few different options available to us. We could either turn them both into millimeters, we could try and turn them both into meters, or we can kind of go part way in between and turn them both into something like centimeters. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the meters into millimeters. Now, in order to do that, we need to know how many millimeters in a meter. Well, there's 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. There are 100 centimeters in a meter. So 100 centimeters is 100 lots of 10 millimeters, and 100 lots of 10 is 1,000. 1,000 millimeters is the same as 1 meter. 1.2 meters would be equal to 1,200 millimeters. The way in which you can do that is using this conversion here. If I want to turn meters into millimeters, the rule I would use would be times 1,000. So if it was 2 meters, that would be 2,000 millimeters. If it was 5 meters, that would be 5,000 millimeters. So 1.2 meters, if I do 1.2 times 1,000, that would give me 1,200 millimeters. So that's what I'm going to put in here. Okay, so I'm now going to be comparing 15 millimeters to 1,200 millimeters. Can you fit 80 of the books on the shelf? So we want exactly 80. So we need 80 lots of 15. So 80 lots of 15. So using long multiplication, 5 lots of 0 is nothing. 5 lots of 8 is 40. So I've done 5 lots of 80 now to give us 400. I'm now going to do 1 times 80, but it's not just 1, it's in the tens column. So it's actually 10 lots of 80. So I'm going to start with the leading 0 as a placeholder and now move into the tens column. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 8 is 8. Add the numbers together. I've got 1,200. What are the units? Well, I've been working in millimeters. So 1,200 millimeters. So that is for 80 books. And the question is, would 80 books fit on the shelf? Well, 80 books would take up 1,200 millimeters. And as we've just worked out, that is exactly how long the shelf is. So can you fit 80 books on the shelf? The answer is yes. It is a yes-no question. We need to make sure we answer yes or no. But very important, it's even in bold, we must show the working. So we need to have some sort of evidence here to prove that it will indeed fit. Other ways of working out, I did mention that we could work in centimeters. So if you decided to work in centimeters, the shelf would be 120 centimeters long, and 15 millimeters is the same as 1.5 centimeters. So a little bit trickier because that is a decimal, but we could still work it out and see how many, what's 80 lots of 1.5 centimeters, and we would actually end up with 120 centimeters as our answer. Um, so that's it. So the answer is yes. It exactly fits on it, and that concludes the answers to the 4 problems.